Have you ever tried to study social neuroscience and made a book called Have You Ever? And decided video was a good idea? Have you ever put a wolf on your wall and then the wolf ate part of a goat and left the dead body on your floor? And the Seattle police arrive and take the dead carcass away to have it checked for DNA. Have you ever got a card from the Seattle Police Department 100,000 times in 1 year? Have you ever seen a dream catcher? Social neuroscience. A good starting point, I think, for silence and total and complete quietness. No more music, no more shaking, dancing, and rocking and rolling. Today's usually the day I do my music after I hang out with Oliver and Nolan. We go over stuff and figure out, okay, what's the drummer doing? What's the pianist doing? And then it's me. It's like the old, 36-year-old, who's got to lay down. Because the back just, starts to be painful when you can't take methotrexate with the coronavirus because your immune system might just keep going. And I haven't seen my, I guess I heard from my social worker yesterday and got a phone call with an offer for an appointment. And not a single, hey, how's the flu going, is everything good? Nothing, nada. Culturally and socially, maybe not a part of their world. But a little bit nerve-wracking to have phone calls to police and neighbors who think I'm a violent criminal with a woman in a hijab who stares at me every time we sit down and talk about social work counseling, social work material. And I'm always talking because I don't get social stuff. But the only work we ever do has to do with me just trying to not say a word, but getting freaked out because the person across from me is Muslim and they just stare at me. The person across from me, they could be Hindu. But having anybody religious stare at least me, gets me a little bit nervous because I just I don't feel like it's very truthful and especially fair for someone who's had cancer and values their time so much, wanting to not get free money forever from social services and willing to talk to people, not just, in the building here now, but elsewhere, to explain what I'm working towards to get progress and work accomplished, completed. No school would ever look at Have You Ever on YouTube or on a DVD, maybe eventually if I get rich and, design the next trampoline in outer space. Mostly for like people, on like moon bases or like bases on planets in the far, far, far away distant, years. And they just get stared at. And nobody speaks words. The whole place does stuff with their body, because maybe someone got shipped up there from a place like here in Seattle, Washington. They started saying they're gonna fuck someone up next time they saw him, and then, the NASA, they were like, oh, it's kind of like Elon Musk smoking marijuana on the YouTube, like kind of freaky considering the man's gonna shoot some astronauts into outer space on the rockets he does engineering, for when he's not doing electric cars that go really fast. There's tons of difficulties with social parts of the world, like a social worker requirement, a landlord downstairs, a woman over there, a man, every which way. And strange and almost like unexplainable, heard, like when you start like, you're like, oh, well that sounds, like fingers, but then you're like, wait, was that like a homeless man trying to sell crack in the freaking hallway? Or in the, walkway? Or was that the man and his girlfriend selling Bibles? It's like, well, maybe there's like heroin in the Bibles. Maybe that's why they're so worried about their pottery. So there could be no social world. Maybe finally I make it to a home where I don't have to give up my freedom to make someone socially and emotionally fine. You know, like paint my face, look like a porcupine. You know, go a little slower. Point the prickly stuff up. Oh, but that could hurt like their eyes, you know, because they might look up and go, oh, he's gonna scrape the ceiling and wreck the building. So, you know, you keep the pricklies nice and flat, but then when you're walking, you know, when you go out into the world and the walkway out of the home, here in this building at least, you know, you gotta look down. You know, porcupine eyes go down. And, you know, sharp, you know, pointy stuff, they go down too. And then the little porcupine, you know, you just kind of like crawl with your fingernails. And kind of scratch the floor to, like, you know, go to the Safeway up the hill to buy food. And to go hear the complaint from the Minnesota woman who didn't feel safe with a person with a flashlight and a bottle in their hands. And to be prepared, ready, and, you know, emotionally devastated for more homelessness. But more socially smart to finally not have to feel sick and cold anymore and depressed from the appointments and the kicking of the door and the threatening of the man down the hall because the man says, oh, he did meth. And the woman and the man who have two homes in one apartment each. Synchronization occurs naturally. You know, people have awareness and attention and get fast thinking, slow thinking, calm, you know. And learned these processes and systems in the brain, body, and mind from years and years of experience and wisdom spent being socially aware.